Hey, what's up, guys and girls? This is Midori, and I'm back with another episode of Draw Midori. Now, today I am doing Bruno Mars. Now, he recently got into some controversy with, the whole culture vulture thing, and I just wanted to talk about that just for a little bit. Man, I feel like he, he never came out saying that, he's black. He's actually, Puerto Rican and Filipino with a little bit of Jew in there. So, he never actually came out and say he was black, but it's just that everybody assumed that because he was doing black black music. The way I feel is that as long as he pay homage to the craft, that's all that really matters. Doesn't really matter his skin color. He makes good music. As long as he continues to make good music, that's all that really matters. So that's all I really gotta say about that. Now, what I'm gonna do for the drawing is it's gonna be with Copex, Japanese photo brush, and pretty much no watercolors this time. So starting off now, I am doing the basic. How I always start off. I usually always start off with the skeleton, and this is the stage where I figure out the what type of shapes the drone is gonna have. I look at the contour of Bruno's face and just try to figure out, get the measurements right, the proportions right, and things like that. Not really too much worrying about detail. So here you're gonna see me. I'm gonna be erasing a lot, just so that I get the proportions down to the point where I feel like, where I feel comfortable in terms of how it looks in relationship to his face. See, again, here you see me erasing the hat. I'm just making sure that everything matches up. And one thing I noticed about John Bruno's face, he has a very round face. I didn't realize it until now. Like he has a round face, but at the same time he has a really small nose, and his lips, I'll say he has a decent, medium sized lips, not too big, not really too small, but I guess it's more leaning on the small side. But at the same time, he also has a round chin, you know, almost like it looks almost like he has a butt chin, but at the same time, he doesn't. It doesn't really protrude too much out or anything like that. And he has those, ethnic black lips. Making sure I get the chin correctly, at least until I feel comfortable in the way it looks. Now I'm going on and doing his hair. And back on the whole race thing of Bruno Mars. He's Puerto Rican, and if you know your history, Puerto Rican is not necessarily a race. It's more of a nationality than a race. You can be Puerto Rican and black. You can be Puerto Rican and native. You can be Puerto Rican and more white. So it's not necessarily a race. So it says his father was Puerto Rican. So given his given his skin tone, his father could have been half, like 20-30% black, 30% native to that island, or who knows. So but it really doesn't matter, long as he makes good music, and he pays homage to that culture. It isn't like, because people are saying that, oh, he doesn't consider himself black, blah blah blah, and he's culture poaching. I guess if he was really really culture poaching, then I feel like, I don't know, he would be more like a, I don't know, like, I don't even want to say like a riffraff, because I feel like riffraff, he started off, you know he's really started off culture vulturing, but at the same time, I feel like as he grown as an artist, I feel like Riff Raff more uh paid starts to pay homage to the culture than just a mockery just to make money, you know. So I don't think that's what Bruno Mars is doing. You know, you can really tell by the way he danced and how much work he put into his craft that he really loves the culture. He seems like he loves the people, you know. So I don't feel like there's anything really wrong uh, with him, you know, singing or performing black music. You know, when it comes to funk, hip hop, jazz, you know, and so on. Now back to the drawing. I was doing his. I'm pretty much done with the basic sketch of Bruno. So now I'm going over with the Copic multiliner, and I'm just getting the basic contours down. You know, for this drawing. So again, even in this stage, I'm not really too much thinking about detail. It's just getting the basic outline of the drawing done. Sort of like the how you would see coloring books. I just want to get to that stage. You know, when you look at a coloring book, it's like everything is flat. You know, in terms of line weight. You know, it's not too much variations because it has to be simple so the person could, you know, it's easier to see all the lines and color it in. So that's pretty much what I'm doing at this stage. Just making it so that it's sort of like a coloring, like a imprint of a coloring book. But later on, I'm going to do more uh, detail details in the line weight and the contours of his face and the clothing and the hands and stuff like that. Kind of just letting this play out. This is the stage where I do a little erasing. I recently got new multi-liners, pens, the Copa pens, and so far from what I'm using, they're really good. I don't have to really too much worry about smudging. So now I'm doing the first stage of the coloring process with the well, not necessarily Copic markers. I'm using a brand called Beiyu. Beiyu is a Chinese brand of alcohol-based markers. I bought the 72 pack for about $100. One thing I like about this picture, I chose this picture because he looked like he's throwing up gang signs or something like that, or West Side or some shit. You know, excuse my language, but I just found it interesting because I never really see him as that type of artist. Because you know, he's not a rapper. You know, he's more of an R&B slash singer slash funk artist. So, but yeah, I just think it's really crazy with the whole culture vulture thing. But I can understand why, you know, a lot of black people can be angry, you know, with Bruno Mars in terms of not a lot of black people, but some. There's like a small minority that's, you know, coming out and saying this whole culture vulture thing. But I can understand why, because you know, a lot of black artists over the years, a lot of them were really good, just as good as Bruno Mars, but at the same time, there wasn't really that push or got those opportunities in the media, you know, to be able to grow really that big, because there was like a lot of artists that could dance, sing, and you know, they can, you know, they're extremely talented, but there wasn't really that push in the media. So I feel like what people are saying is that Bruno Mars is sort of like a catalyst or a bridge for like people who are not necessarily into black music or When I say black music, I'm not necessarily just meaning hip hop. I'm talking about old school black music like funk, jazz, y- you know, rock and roll and things like that. That people, a lot of people, younger generation, fell out of that type of music. So I feel like the thing with Bruno Mars is the fact that since he's so racial ambiguous, a lot of people can relate to him. So it's easier, like you know, for him to be mainstream. Hold on one second, guys. It's easier for him to be mainstream and crossover. What I mean by crossover is that a lot of black artists, they tend to they be really popular and talented in the black urban community, but they won't have that crossover appeal that everybody could like him. White people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and things like that. And since he's mixed, and really, even though you know that he's ethnic and minority, but since he's mixed and not necessarily just black, he can I'll say he has more opportunity to reach more people. So I guess that's why some black people can feel some type of way, is because they feel like a lot of black artists over the years has been just as talented as Bruno, but they don't get the same media push and shine as as the way he's getting it. Not to knock his work ethic and his talent or anything like that. You also have to have all of that and a bag of chips in able to be able to blow up like that. But I can understand why some people are saying, well, this and that. That's why he's popular and yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, you can only do so much with media push. You're gonna have that talent too. So that's just my opinion. And I'm pretty much getting it done. I'm just doing the basic coloring for the hands. I'm terrible at hands. No matter, I'm a 32-year-old artist, and hands still give me a problem. Like, especially if you want to be lazy and, you don't really want to put, you know, too much effort. I mean, I was putting in a lot of effort, but, to get hands perfect, you got to go back in and I'll erase. And I'm sort of a perfectionist, but at the same time, I'm not. I will let a lot of things slide, especially now that I have less time to make the art be really, really perfect. And I feel like also with my style is that everything don't have to be 100% realistic. I feel like it's like whenever I try to draw something realistic, it always comes out looking like my style and how I draw things from my imagination. Like when I do manga or comics and stuff, it's like I be it whenever I draw realistic, it always that essence of how I draw manga and comics always comes out into the drawing. Like certain things I would do that if I was drawing a made up character always come through. So it's the same thing with this Bruno Mars. Like you can see it in his eyes. Like it looks like him, but at the same time, it doesn't 100%. It's not like a hyper realistic drawing. It's like a realist. It's like a portrait drawing with a style. If that makes sense. Like you're gonna see if you follow me on Instagram at Midori's art page, you will see that you look at my other drawings of some of my characters, it's the same thing. When it comes to like the way I draw eyes and nose and lips and stuff like that, and the contour of the lines, the outlines and the heavy inking, and it's just part of my style. Just naturally, I just end up doing it. So it's like I'm not one of those hyper realistic portrait artists. I never was. I'm not even gonna claim to be. I just started doing this. All right, guys, it's pretty much coming towards the end. It's pretty much done at this stage. I'm about 95% done. Guys, be sure to follow me on Instagram and hit the like button in this video. Also, if you're new, please subscribe. All right, guys and girls, you have a great day.